Again, we're doing the Step One podcast today. We're going to be talking about not only the first things that you got to be focused on as an entrepreneur, because a lot of people right now, they get stuck. They're in this moment of, they feel trapped almost in the mindset of not knowing exactly what the next step is. And I want to be that person to explain it to you. So again, whether you're at 0 trying to scale up to your first 100, or if you're stuck at 100 trying to make your first million, we're going to be trying to teach you on how to do that. Again, I'm going to be introducing my guest shortly on this. I'm just trying to load up the Zoom. We got a lot of people coming up on here. So hold on one second, everybody. And by the way, if you're on the Facebook Live, share this out. This podcast is going to bring you a lot of helpful tips. We're going to be trying to be super, super tactical today. And by the way, if you're on the Zoom here, by the way, that's a Zoom camera. So make sure you're going to be looking at the cameras going on.
Look at all these cameras.
Look at all these cameras got going on. So again, if all of you guys listening on the Zoom, or all of you guys on the Facebook Live, I'd like for you guys to do me a favor. Comment down below any questions that you have throughout the entire process. We're going to be making sure that we answer everything. Let's see here. We're going to be loading up the Facebook Live. We're loading up the Zoom. I appreciate it. We're going to get started in T-minus 30 seconds, everybody. T-minus 30 seconds. Everything's good with the camera, Brandon? Cool. Just making sure. 1 second here. Again, for everyone on the Facebook Live and everybody here listening here today live, I appreciate you guys for coming on. Make sure you share this out with people that you know, people that you love, and people that you appreciate. This content's going to be awesome. Again, if you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, put it in the chat. We're going to make sure that we answer that towards the end. Other than that, we're going to kick things off. So again, I got not only a dear friend of mine, but this is one of the best mortgage lenders in the country. I might be a little bit biased because we do a lot of business together, but I got my friend Nicholas Montani with Cross Country Mortgage. How you doing, my friend?
What's going on, Henry?
Things are great, man. How about you?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good.
Yeah, we've been having a killer year so far, and I know you guys are breaking some records. How you guys holding up in the market?
We're good. I mean, it's last year was a crazy year from everybody, across the board. Sure. Purchase business, refi business, and it hasn't slowed down.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly insane. I feel like, everyone in every aspect of this business is feeling the shift a little bit. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like, which side of the coin do you feel like is pushing harder, the purchases, the refis? What do you think is really moving right now?
It just depends on what you're doing, and depends on who you're talking to, right? Because I think it's, depending on where you are in the country, it is a super heavy seller's market, right? So there's a lot of people that have plenty of buyers that want to buy, that want to move out of the city. I want to get out, in our case, we're in New Jersey, want to get away from New York necessarily, maybe move to Connecticut or Long Island or New Jersey somewhere, trying to find a hard time finding homes. So it's not a matter of people, the business of people actually wanting to buy. It's about finding the homes to get them in, right? And then in terms of refis, rates are still near historic lows. They're not expected really to go up until maybe this point next year. So it's still plenty of, opportunity there for if you're in the mortgage world, or if you're looking to do a refinance, but just depends on your situation.
Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, look, what we're going to be talking about today is not only, we're going to be talking a lot about the mortgage world, we're going to be talking a lot about your story. And again, for a lot of you guys who don't know Nick's story, he actually was very successful in a previous career. So I want to touch on that as well before he got into the mortgage world. On top of that, I think it's important for a lot of us to realize that, look, how long have you been doing this now, Nick?
This is going to be my fourth year originating full time.
I love it. So the cool thing, again, that I like about your story is, again, and we kind of grew up in this business together, and we've basically become family at this point. But I want to rewind the clocks a little bit and kind of talk about the years growing up, because your father's been in the business for how long now?
Close to 40 years.
Almost 40 years in the mortgage world. So look, I grew up with a father who's a school teacher. Very, very different world. And I know that when you grow up with a father as an entrepreneur, which you've now seen the other side of it now being one, where I want to dive, back into when you were a kid and maybe some of the experiences that you've seen. Because listen, a lot of people listening, they are all entrepreneur salespeople, and they're going to be aspiring to be successful in every way, shape, and form. But a lot of things that people don't pay attention to is how that might impact their kids.
Yep.
Right. So I love for you to touch on, if we want to rewind the clocks. And by the way, real quick before we do that, listen, guys, knowledge without implementation, it doesn't lead to anything. So you got to learn that you got to take notes today, but then you got to go out there and implement it and take massive levels of action. If you have any comments, questions, or anything like that, put it in the chat box down below. For you guys also on the Facebook Live, put it in the comments down below. We'll make sure to answer them. And also be sure to invite and share this out with everyone that you know, because again, we want to try to support and help everybody that we can. So Nick, take it away. Let's dive into your past, as far back as you want to go.
Sure. So, again, Henry, thanks for having me.
Sure.
I appreciate it. My story is pretty unique. I'm in the lending world, and lending has been a part of my life since as long as I can remember. My father started his own company when he was 23 years old. Had his own company, been with different companies. Now we're very happy. We love Cross Country Mortgage. They're great every aspect of being with them. But I grew up, with the goods and bads, right? It's like any entrepreneurial type of job or sales type role. You got to be grinding. You got to be working as hours that most people typically don't work. So we were blessed. My mom raised myself and my three siblings, and was a stay-at-home mom. And my dad worked a lot of hours, and he worked nights, he worked on weekends, and that's and part of the reason was that he did that is he just truly is so passionate about his job and loves what he does. It's not a job to him,
which he still is today.
He is the man. Works on the weekends. He goes in on Saturdays. He goes on Sundays. He calls that his relaxing days, where he's able to just go in, no interruptions, clear out the pipes, make sure he's organized going into the week. So it's we grew up with our mom raising us as kids, and then not really fully understanding where my dad was or why he was the way he was until much later in life, when I went into my own role in a sales role after I graduated school in 2013, and I kind of got an understanding of why you have to do the different things that you do.
Yeah, no, I love that. So let's dive into this. So like before you were in the mortgage world, let's talk about your previous career a little bit. So what did you do beforehand?
I worked for an IT partner of some of the major technology manufacturers in the country. Got the job right out of school. Absolutely loved it. Amazing company. And it led the experiences there, combined with other life experiences and knowledge that I had growing up, made the transition into this role, really easy. It was very comparable in terms of how you had to work with different referral partners, how you had to build relationships, how you had to network, what your hours typically look like, and to build your business and your book of and your career, right?
Sure.
So I was in New Jersey, I was in New York, I was back in New Jersey covering different territories.
Was there any specific reason why you got into that career, or no?
No, I was looking for a role. So it's funny enough, my dad wanted me to be a mortgage lender my whole life. It's something that I interned there with him throughout the years. I watched him throughout the years, and I always wanted to start my own. I kind of wanted to forge my own path, right? So I never, I always kind of pushed that aside and never really wanted to do that. Always knew I wanted to be in sales, but wanted to go away from mortgage lending in the beginning of my life, just because I wanted to establish my own thing.
Gotcha. So did you fall into the other side, the tech world, or?
One of my favorite professors while I was at school recommended me to a program, and it was a training program where you got assigned to a partner company, again, of one of these big manufacturers, technology manufacturers. I went to North Carolina. I did a 4-month training program down there, came back and was thrown right into direct outside sales, meeting with clients, building businesses, working with different providers. I was thrown in at 22 years old, right into the thick of things.
How did you end up dealing with it right when you got into it? I mean, you're 22 years old in that kind of world. I mean, I'm sure you were one of the youngest people there.
Yeah. I mean, you're working with people that have, 20, I had a mentor when I was blessed with a mentor at my company from the moment that I got there, who had 25 years of experience. So I had him as a mentor. My father gave me, training from a sales perspective, because sales translates across any industry. It doesn't matter
Absolutely.
What you're doing.
I agree with that.
So, it was challenging, but I was, young and didn't know any better. And all I just did was I did what the people that I saw that were doing really successful told me to do. And it led to success in that career. And it led to me, it was the foundation of the rest of my work career thus far.
No, I love that. So I definitely want to be touching on a few things. So again, a lot of people here listening today, they're either super, super new in the business, specifically in real estate or whatever business that they're in, or they're kind of stuck, right? They might be at an income level and they just don't know how to break through. And, some of them probably are somewhere around the $100,000 range. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about both. So, just getting started, what do you feel like helped you so much as quick? Because again, you've grown super quick. I mean, from 0 to over 150 loans now a year, personally, which is amazing in a very, very short period of time. What is somebody, if you're talking to a brand new realtor, brand new loan officer, brand new whatever, what is one of the first couple steps that they should be taking getting into the business?
First thing I would do is I I would look and search out the people who are either in your company, on your team, people that you know that do really well, and emulate what they do, right? Bigger pile theory. I'm going to follow and take the advice of whoever's more successful, making more money, having more closings, more leads generated, whatever they're doing, I'm going to copy, right? So part of that is a lot of my training was focused around, in the beginning of my career, establishing systems and routines that I do on not only a weekly basis, but a daily basis, the same things every single day. You want, the best way I could describe it is, I want my business to be boring, right? I want to be a subject matter expert in my field. I want to have the same routine with every new client that I meet with. I want to have the same routine as I'm establishing new relationships. And then once you have those relationships, fostering them and growing them and building them into something that is beyond work. Because if you can build a relationship and you can have relationships that are in your work life that are built on a personal level and foundationally based on friendship and love, then it's going to lead to more success than you could ever imagine.
No, I love that. And again, a big thing that I heard you say is that you want to make it, you want to kind of, and I heard David John say this, you want to obsess over the boring, mundane day to day, because it does not have to be different. It should not be super different every single day, right? Because again, you've created systems that are duplicatable, you just follow, right? That consistency is going to pay off. But a lot of people want to keep, listen, I'm not saying not improve it, not adjust and shift where things need. But at the same time, if you do the same thing every day and it works, right, you should be, fall in love with that mundane. So I love that. I think that was a really good point. Follow the people who have a bigger pile than you. I think that's important. It's helped me a lot in my career. Let's go a couple steps further now. Let's say now you're starting to cruise. You start doing, 3, 4, 5, 6 loans a month. Mm-hmm. What is the biggest differentiation between people who do, let's call it a handful of closings a month, and now dozens of closings a month that you've seen?
That they're always prospecting, no matter what. They never stop prospecting. What happens in any business, any sales businesses, what happens most of the time is people have ebbs and flows, right? They have peaks, they have valleys. People have a month where they might do 5, 6, 7 closings, and then they have 2 months where they have 1 or 2 over a 2-month period. And that's because they get too stuck in those months where they're having a big closing. That's all they're focusing on. And the work that you do today is going to lead to your production 2 months down the road.
Exactly.
So the most important thing that I can give, in terms of advice, in terms of maintaining and having a sustainable production level, whatever that level that you want it to be, is you never stop prospecting. You always you stick to the routines to prospect at least 4 hours a day, if not more. You skip that, you're going to see your production decline. You keep with that, you're going to see your production maintain.
What he said was huge, okay? And listen, he said 4 hours a day. 4 hours a day. And there's a lot of you on here who think that making 30 minutes of phone calls is a lot. Listen, this is a top producer talking, and I do the same thing he does, right? It's massive levels of action in regards to prospecting. Because again, I believe that, look, your pipeline is your bloodline of your business,
yep.
Right? It is your bloodline. And for a lot of you here, listen, a part of that is the incredible delegation and team that you have behind you that will support all of that business. So he's not truly worried about all of the deals getting taken care of. Mm-hmm. However, and again, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but for all of you listening, a big piece of it, and specifically more for when you're just getting started and up until when you're probably doing, I don't know, probably what, $500,000 to $1 million a year, mm-hmm. Prospecting is number one, mm-hmm. and should always be. Right. And again, like we'll talk about that now, but you have an incredible team, mm-hmm. A team of what? How many people?
We have about 12 people on our individual. So we have Cross Country Mortgage is our company, one of the top lenders in the entire country. We oversee a region of different branches throughout the country. And then our team itself, it's 2 lenders, 2 loan officers. It's my father and I. We do about anywhere from 400 to 500 closings a year. We have 10 to 12 people, depending, because some people are part-time, there's different roles. But we just have a streamlined, efficient process that makes it so that I am less busy now doing 10 times the amount of production that I was doing 4 years ago.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
It's like, and again, by the way, that's the signs of you doing a lot of things right and delegating correctly, because I feel the same way, where in my business now, I feel like half the time, not that I have nothing to do, but it just feels so much more relaxed. And I don't feel like I'm pulled in 1,000 different directions because my team is operating at a high level. His team is operating at a high level, right? So all we have to worry about is prospecting.
Right.
right? Which is what allows us to scale at the highest level. So other than that, let's talk about this a couple quick things. So again, growing up with a father who's been now in the business almost 40 years, what do you and now again, because you just got married, which is super exciting.
Yep.
Is this something that you have? Is that a fear for you? Being like, did you feel like that helped you as a child? Now where you are at now, how was that growing up? Is that something you want to do with your kid?
No, I just take everything's a learning experience. I say to my father all the time, we've had multiple conversations. Him and I are best friends. We talk all day, every day. And I've shared with him on numerous occasions that I don't want that for my life. I don't want that for my family. It's nothing that it was wrong. It wasn't that it was bad. It was just the way that he operates, and it's his way of doing his business. What I found is I know what I want to do production wise. I know how much I have to work to get there. And it's not that you learn from, it's not that you take it as a bad thing. You take it as a learning experience to, wow, you want your future to look like and how you want your family to look like.
I like that. I like that. So is there any things that you feel like that you learned that deliberately you're going to do differently? I'm learning from myself.
Yeah. I mean, his thing was he would go in, and he still does. He loves going in on Saturday and Sunday mornings and working for a couple hours and just kind of clearing the pipes and doing things. And I don't want to do that. He likes, work and meeting with clients. It's also very different now than it was a year ago, right? We used to meet every single client that we worked with face to face. We every single one. Now, I don't know if even when things get back to quote unquote normal with COVID and everything going on in the world, I'll probably still stick to doing Zoom meetings. It's more efficient. It's easier to handle. I can fit more meetings in the day. I don't have to worry about travel time. I don't have to worry about people coming to me. What I would change, and what he did as when I was growing up, was he would have late meetings. He would do things on the weekends. To me, I like my weekends. I want to spend with my family. I want to spend time with making sure that I'm maintaining and making sure that those relationships are super strong, and that there's no one ever feels like I'm work is more than family in any way. And then it's not that I don't want to work in evenings, because I'll meet with people and I schedule nighttime appointments, but I don't want to do them every day. I want to, it's one of the things that has led to my growth over the last couple of years is setting a set schedule, not deviating from it, not only with prospecting time, but client appointments, referral partner meetings, office work time. Everything in my day is scheduled out weeks in advance.
I love that. So that's actually this is a great segue now. So again, I wanted to talk about some current events that are going on in the marketplace. And one of them is because of COVID. How has that impacted your business? And I know you were saying some with the Zooms, which, again, has been something we've been implementing slowly. But what have you, when COVID first hit versus now, I mean, what are some things that have gone really, really well, and maybe some things that haven't?
Well, one of the obvious things for most people, or anyone who follows the markets or anything that's gone on over the last year, is an obvious that, this is one of the few businesses that has thrived since COVID has started, because interest rates have gone down to near historic lows, if not at historic lows at different points in time, right? So from a pure production standpoint, there were so many people out there. If the majority, I wouldn't say the majority, but I would probably say more than 50% of people who had mortgages probably refinanced last year, right? So lots of production, lots of business, lots of opportunity. What's changed is operationally how we handle things, right? It used to be, and it sounds archaic now, even a year later, but we used to have everybody come to the office. They'd bring all their paperwork. We'd scan all the paperwork or make copies and then put it into the system, upload it, have to re-request things. Now, everything has just been streamlined so that people just upload their documents right into a system. We don't even have to worry about we don't have any paperwork in our office anymore, which is contrary to what this world has been like for the last 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah. And so I think it's insane to think about that, basically everything has been changed completely to 100% digital. And it's funny that you probably could have done that beforehand, but it was so crazy to think about things going to that extent. So that's insane. So let's go to the next question here. So what are some creative ways? And again, this is just from, things that are going on in the market. And I'm sure you're seeing some of the similar stuff that I am, but what are some creative ways that you see that buyers are today putting themselves in a better position to buy a home? What would you say if you're talking to a homeowner right now who's thinking about buying? What are some things that you could be telling them to make sure they look like a better buyer?
Okay. Well, first of all, I think this is the same thing that has been forever. If you're interested in buying a home, you want to get pre-approved as early in the process as possible. That has not changed. That will never change. And the reason being, it's not just for you to make an offer, right? But you want to be able to know going into looking at homes exactly what price range you should be looking at, because you might think that you should be looking at a price range that's here, but you actually might be able to look here, or maybe you only have to be able to look here, right? So preparation in terms of the home buying process, getting pre-approved as quickly as possible or as far in advance as possible. And then when you're making offers at home, it's working with an agent or a team that truly understands not only the home that you're making an offer on, but the market in which you're in. Because there are some homes that are getting 20, 30, 40 offers, right? So you need to be able to work with somebody. To me, that finding the right agent to work with is key in this process, because you need someone who's going to be able to get you the information that you need in order to put yourself in the best position.
What about, I agree 100%. What about for people who are in the business who are looking to buy homes? Because a lot of people don't talk about this. A lot of people don't talk about this. What are some things, if you're an entrepreneur, just, or an agent, loan officer, and especially for agents, I guess, because we're all 1099s, but a lot of us want to buy houses. And I feel like a lot of us don't realize that there's something called taxes, and they don't really account for that. And then all of a sudden, and again, look, I'm raising my hand. I was definitely in a situation a few years ago where this wouldn't have worked out. But again, I'm talking to agents out there, talking to 1099 contractors, self-employed people. What are some specific things where we're talking a little bit tax now, but a little bit more preparation financially that they should be looking at?
The less money you show on your tax returns, the less money you pay in taxes, the harder it is for you to buy a house. Period. End of story. It's the truth. The hardest clients I have are realtors, because they don't, they look at it and they say, oh, well, I make this and I, have this coming in every month, and so I should be fine. Most realtors don't look at their finances. Most realtors don't try to plan and figure out. They'll say, all right, well, I made $100,000, but when you look at their tax return and they wrote off 50% of that and they only show $50,000, they don't qualify for the same level of house that they thought they did. So realtors are actually the segment of the people that we work with and meet with to get pre-approved, that they're the ones who I want to meet with as far in advance as possible. If someone's a realtor, they plan on buying a house in a year, I want them to meet with me now to figure out what their taxes look like, so that when they file their taxes next year, we can figure out what is the money that you actually showed and what is it that you plan on showing next year, so you can plan appropriately.
Listen, guys, we're talking to you. Everyone listening here today. I mean, again, look, me being one of those people a few years ago where I didn't have any systems or plans around buying a home. I just wanted to buy a multifamily, right? We all have the aspiration to invest in real estate. A lot of our realtors here, for some reason, shape, or form, never buy any real estate, even though we talk about it all the time. But again, if you want to buy investment property and you are a real estate agent, or if you are a business owner and you want to get into the world of investing, you have to show income. You have to show income. So you need to make sure you're talking to your accountant and your mortgage lender sooner, so you can plan for these things, right? Because I mean, we've been having this conversation for years about me looking to do it, and again, but we followed a plan and it worked out, right? So it's what a lot of people need to be doing. What about let's dive into the next one here. There's thousands of people now, if not millions of people, who are trying to get into your world and mine right now. There's a lot of people getting their real estate license and a lot of people getting into the mortgage world. What are you recommending, again, if for somebody who's just completely super brand new right now? Again, if there's someone right now on the call who wants to get into the mortgage world or wants to get into the real estate world, what's like a little bit of an insight thing? I'm not saying just like tactical business thing. We'll talk about that in a second. But if you're talking to like a friend of yours and they go, "Hey, Nick, I want to get into the mortgage world," what are your thoughts? What are you saying to that person?
What I'm saying to them is you need to shadow somebody, and you need to see, right? Because this is entrepreneurial, anything in an entrepreneurial role, sales role, real estate, anything in our world, it's not what you see on $1 Million Listing. It's not what you see on HGTV. It's not those shows, right? You need to get real life experience from people and actually see what it's like on a daily basis, not just what someone's telling you on the phone, or if you're looking at how much money they make or what car they drive, and you're like, oh, I can do that, or that's what I want to do, because you may not, want to do the job that you have to be meeting with clients after hours. Like in our role, most of the people that we work with, we have meetings from mid-afternoon until early evening, because that's when people are usually off from work. If you want a job where you are done by 5 o'clock, it's not the job for you. If you want a job where you don't want people calling you on the weekends, not the job for you, right? You need to be able to, number one, be aware that the time commitment for this type of a job is very different than like when I say a normal job, a 9 to 5 job, right? Very different. the time frame in terms of success is not what you're seeing on TV. You're not just instantly starting your first year in the business and you're
making a ton of money.
You're making the money that you probably are seeing on TV. The progression for me was 50 loans year 1, 76 loans year 2, 160 loans year 3, about 260 is going to be year 4. So it's not, you can gradually progress and you can grow that business to where you want it to be, but it's not going to be instantaneous. Last thing I would say is get on a team, right? If you try to jump into this business, not as much in the lending world, because you've got to be on teams, you've got to be with branches. But if you want to be a realtor and you want to try to jump into this, and you might have a couple of friends that are looking to buy homes, so you think you have a few people right off the bat that, oh, I could work with them, they could be my buyers, or my parents are selling their home, so I'll list their house. That's fine. You might get 1 or 2 or 3 right when you get your license, and it might make you feel good. But what happens when they're gone? What happens when you don't have a team to support you, to help you build your prospecting up, to set up the right systems, to follow up for you, to follow up with you, to push you and guide you the right way? Team is, to me, if I'm new in this business, doesn't matter if you're a lender, doesn't matter if you're a realtor, I'd make sure you're on the right team.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that's super key. I love the fact that you were talking about shadowing before you even think about getting your license or diving into it, because a lot of people, I just get the phone call all of a sudden like, oh yeah, so I'm in my classes now. And then they're so curious, why once they get their license, that it's so much more difficult than they thought. Mm-hmm. So I think that's really, really powerful. Let's dive into the business side of things. Sure. Do you have a coach right now? We talked about this.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
You're good.
I have 3 coaches.
You have 3 coaches. So talk to me a little bit about that and why that's so important to you.
So to me, again, I very much, as I said in the beginning of the show here, I am very much focused on, I'm going to follow the person who's more successful. And to me, I have coaches for different parts of my life. I have a coach that helps me more with my personal life. I have a coach that's purely a business coach. And then I have more of a hybrid role, right? My business coach is, in terms of my production, is the single most important influence on how I do my daily routine. He is the one who keeps me accountable for the things that I should be doing versus what I am doing. So I get fined if I don't do the right things. He won't show up on my calls if I show up on the previous call and I didn't do the homework that I was supposed to do. So if you're another part of this business, right, is you want to be working with people who are going to keep you accountable on the highest level.
Absolutely.
It's not and I know when he's hard on me, my coach, it is not from a place of trying to give me a hard time. It is from a place purely of love. It's from a place of wanting the best out of me. And it's from a place of him wanting me to get to the point in my life and my career where I want to be. Not everyone wants, and this is a very important thing. If you want to get into real estate, you do not have to, or lending, you do not have to say that you want to make $1 million a year. You may want to do real estate and say, I want to make $30,000 a year. I want to make $100,000 a year. I want to make whatever the number is. You want to find people that can help you obtain the numbers that you want. Not everyone wants to be the top of every chart. They might have very different reasons that they're doing this. So focusing on finding people that can help you obtain the goals that you have specifically for yourself and your family, critical. It's been critical to me. It's led to the success that I've had.
No, I love that. So then why do you, listen, you're doing great right now. Why do you still need a coach? Because a lot of these people maybe don't even have a coach. Maybe they're just getting started. Why even have a coach at this point?
Well, because there's things that are, again, I'm going to focus on my business coach. There's things that I'm able to talk to him about that he has more experience than me. He's been doing this for 30 years, this coach, and he has knowledge that he forgets more than I know, right? So there's things that I can ask him that, little things that he keeps me on my toes with, or things that I need to do to improve. Anything that I ask him, he has something that I can do to either improve my situation or change my situation to make my career better, right? So I think if you're not willing to be coached, you will at one point hit a ceiling and you won't be able to progress. If you work with somebody and you're open to guidance and you're open to constructive criticism and you're open to accountability, the sky is the limit. You can be as successful as you want to be.
I love that. And I obviously feel the same way. I think having a coach in every aspect of your life is super important. It's somebody to hold you accountable. Question for you. Mm-hmm. If someone's just getting started, do you feel like they should just get a coach right off the bat?
I think that they should be on a team that acts as a coach. I don't think, for example, you have my coach makes $1 to $1.5 million a year. He works 30 hours a week. He's got a team of 8 people. He's got everything dialed in. He knows exactly where he wants to be, and what he has to do to obtain it. Right. That's not a coach that you're going to, have working with someone that has no experience. Right?
Agreed.
So you're not going to pay for a coach. Some of these coaching programs, you see coaching programs all over the country. Pay a couple hundred to a couple $1,000s a month to be a part of it. That's not something that you're going to do when you first get started in this career. To me, it's it's not a coach. You want to find a mentor on the team or a company that you join that you can just lean on to ask for help and guidance and advice as you begin your career.
I love that. I think that's super important. And let's dive one step closer, and then we'll go into some rapid fire questions. So, with your coaches, what is 1 or 2 things that you learned that has revolutionized your business?
1 or 2 things that I've learned. My
like most important things.
2, and I think it's the foundation to everything, any success that you could have in any type of sales role. Number 1, having a strict time blocked schedule every week that you're following, that you are essentially doing, there's, with exceptions, you have doctor's appointments, things that come up in the world and life, but you are sticking to basically the same schedule every single week, figuring out what is the right amount of when you do your prospecting time, when you have your client appointments, when you're having your referral partner meetings, when you're having office cleanup time, when you're doing reviews, when you're working on your business. Every single week, my schedule is essentially the same. Number 1.
Love it.
Number 2, building a foundation of lists and follow-up so that as you build and grow your business, in the beginning, it might seem like, why do I have all these lists if I don't have all of these clients? If you have those lists and follow-up systems set up in the beginning, it is seamless as your business grows and you have, dozens to hundreds to thousands of clients. It's the same thing for every single person.
So before we get into rapid fire, as you said, lists. I want to be super tactical for the people listening. What kind of lists are we talking about?
I have 5 main lists that I call every single week. On Mondays, I call all the realtors that I work with, and this is for the lending world. Realtors have a little bit different, like that.
I can review the 5 lists for us after.
So lenders, I call my realtors every week that I work with. On Tuesdays, I call all of my clients who are in process. I call both realtors, I call both attorneys, and I call the borrowers, let them know the status of their file. On Wednesdays, we call what are known as our TBDs, which are our clients that we've met with, have gotten pre-approved. They're actively looking for a home, but haven't found one yet. Thursdays, I call my past clients, which are usually call about 20 to 30 of them a week for various things. I could be just checking in on them to see how things are going. I could be inviting them to an event. I could be, inviting them to something that we're doing for a charity fundraiser, whatever the case might be. And on Fridays, I call what are known as our VIP lists, which are the top 50 most important people in my life. It doesn't have to be business related. There could be referral partners in there. It could be family members. It could be friends. It could be, professors from college. I have one college professor that I really like that's still on my list. But you're calling these people every week because the bread and butter of our business in terms of prospecting and new business comes from your past clients and comes from your top 50 favorite people.
I love that. Yeah, for realtors, it's VIPs every Monday. So favorite people every single Monday, call about a dozen of them. Every Tuesday, it's your status calls, calling everybody in your deals, so everybody in the process. So again, that's your client, lenders, attorneys. Next part is Wednesdays is follow-up. Thursdays is your database and past clients. Database can be anybody, anywhere in your sphere, maybe just people you haven't really connected with on any sort of level, just people in your contact book, but also your past clients. And then Fridays is something called whales and targets, people that you'd like to do business with, you're not doing business with right now. All right, let's go into rapid fire. This is where everyone should get your pen and paper ready because this is some important questions that I ask every single guest on our calls. Just first thing comes to mind for every single one of these things. So, Nick, if you had to restart from absolute zero today with none of your connections, what would be your first 3 moves to rebuild it?
None of my connections.
No connections. You're at 0 deals. I plop you randomly in California, okay. 0 deals. How are you building it back up? What are the first 3 things?
I am. Again, if I have no system set up, nothing established.
Nothing.
Again, first thing I'm doing is getting my systems in place and my lists in place before I make call number 1, so that once I start making those calls, I have the follow-ups in place and the systems to do that.
Yep.
Number 2, I get in touch. I go to as many networking events as I can, because if you don't have anyone that you have connections with, you got to start somewhere. You can do it on social media. You can do it on LinkedIn. You can do it on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everything else under the world. But you gotta meet people face to face. I know it's a little difficult in the climate that we're in now, with the world and with everything with COVID. But I get to as many in-person events as possible, and I would send probably 50 thank you cards a week to anyone that I meet that could have had any impact on my life and my business. Because there's one thing that, to me, is something that most people don't do, is write handwritten thank you cards anymore. You're going to get more referrals and business from people when you write handwritten thank you cards, or you call on their birthday just to wish them a happy birthday, than you will get from anyone in terms of random people that you don't speak to.
I love that. I love that. Those are some powerful 3 things. By the way, if you're just getting started in the business, or if you've been in this a little bit, there's some key things you should be jumping into doing right away. Next question. If today was your last day and you had this one moment to give some advice to your kids, your future family, the people around you, what kind of advice would it be? It doesn't have to be business related, but I'm always just curious to get some advice.
My favorite quote is, the purpose of life is a life of purpose, right? It's not a matter
Boom.
It's not a matter of, you have to find what your purpose in life is. And that's, your job should not define who you are. A bad day does not define who you are. A bad client experience does not define how you handle all of your clients, right? So I think that you figure out what, for me, the purpose of my life is, I want to be the best husband that I can. I want to be the best, son or brother, friend. To me, if I'm living that, if I'm doing that well, everything else will fall into place after that.
I love that. That is super powerful. Say the quote one more time.
The purpose of life is a life of purpose.
Boom. Write that down. That is some powerful stuff. I love that. All right, next one. What is one thing you would say to somebody who's struggling right now? Let's just say they are a lender. Let's say they're a realtor. They come to you and they're like, it's a friend, family, whatever. They say, listen, I'm struggling. I'm losing some money every month right now. I just don't know if this is the right business for me. I really want to make it happen, but I just don't know. I'm struggling right now. What do you say to that person?
I would say, you have to have an honest conversation with yourself and your family and figure out, number one, is this a career that you can handle sticking out? Because you cannot just be in this business for the bad times. For the good times. You have to be willing to be in this business for the tough times. And if you're going through a tough one right now, you don't think you can handle it for whatever reason, financially, emotionally, whatever the case might be for you and your family, it's okay to say that this isn't for you. I'm just being honest, right? This might not be the fit for you. But if you think that you can handle it and you can get through tough times, you're not going to have only good times in this business. There's no doubt about it. You're going to have ups and downs. You have to understand that if you can handle it and you can weather the storms and get to the good times, you can generate and have a great career, a great life. But you have to truly question internally if you can handle that.
I 100% agree with you. Listen, guys, this business is 80%, like success in general, 80% mindset, 20% actions and strategy. So you got to get this right. You got to make that mental commitment because, again, listen, this business will beat you up.
Yep.
It really will, especially on the day-to-day. All right, last rapid fire question, then we're going to get into some Q&A with everybody watching today. So what is one skill or habit that you feel that you've been working on or that you feel has been a game changer in your business?
Communication. It's this business is all the number one thing that makes people stand apart is if you're a better communicator than the next person, right? So, for example, if someone texts me, if Henry introduces me to a client, I'm going to respond. We have a very nice system. It's an intro text or an intro email. I'll reply to it right away, even if I can't call that person right away. Let them know I'll get back to you at some point today or tomorrow. People don't need to have you at their beck and call, but they just want to acknowledge that you are responding to them in a timely manner and that you're not ignoring them, right?
Exactly.
So communication is the key to any sales job, in my opinion.
I love that. Write that down, communication. And by the way, listen, it's something that you can work on, right? It is something like it is like a muscle. It is a skill you need to be improving and working on every single day. I think that's really powerful. All right, Nick, we're gonna open this up now to Q&A for everybody who's on the live Zoom call. So everybody on the Zoom call, I would just put your hand in the chat, type either a thumbs up or an emoji in the chat. We'll call on you if you have a question. Make sure you type it in the chat. I'll be able to open up the mics. This way you can actually talk to us. If you want to just type it in the chat, you can do that as well. But I have some questions as well. So we're going to start going through some questions. Write them in the chat, by the way. Same thing with the Facebook Live. If you have any questions, put them in the chat box. We'll make sure we get out to you. But some questions that I had from previous was how do you generate a majority of your leads right now? Where do a bunch of your leads come from?
At this point in my career, most of my leads come from past clients, past client referrals or current client referrals, right? So
how do you generate them though? Like, are you calling them? I mean, like, what are you saying to them to generate them?
We have somebody on our team that their only job basically is gifting, right? So we gift our clients, and it's not about sending them things that are just to send them, right? We send everybody that we work with a little birthday box on their birthdays. We sent out, I think we sent out probably 800 PPE kits last year, just to past clients, referral partners, whatever. So meaningful gifts, not just something just for them to have that they're going to look at, throw away, something that like can actually impact them. So we put a lot of thought into birthdays, baby, gifts, anniversaries. That's, just being constantly in front of our clients. We're calling, like I said, probably 20 to 30 past clients every week just to check in and say hi. But you can't just, rely on calling them once every 2 or 3 months and expect them to always have you top of mind. You want them to always have you top of mind if anyone comes up and says, I need a realtor, they want you to say, oh, well, I got to think of Henry because he just called me last week, or I need a new lender. I want to refinance. Well, Nick did a great job for me and my family and my friend at work. So I'm going to refer them out every single time. So you want to always be top of mind with your past clients or current clients.
I love that. And listen, I think a lot of us here today could be doing a better job of attacking their past clients. I think the gifting idea is really good. Again, for a lot of you, just call them. I mean, this is not exactly difficult, but what a lot of people do is that they just never call them back. You close the deal and it's just on to the next. And I think that's a huge mistake because you can make a lot of money from your past clients. Next question. How would you say that you network in today's environment?
I would, so first of all, social media is key, right? We have a marketing coordinator on our team. We have a marketing a division of our company that does a lot of stuff for us as just without us having to do anything. But you want your social media presence to be strong. There's some people, like you have some people that are super strong on Instagram, some people that are super strong on Facebook. A lot of people now are moving towards TikTok and other like different platforms. You want to build your network, your social media presence, I think is number one. I think number two is again, very simple. It sounds very archaic. Pick up the phone and call people. People do not, you can get if you got an email, right? You might get the same email from someone trying to connect with you, and they might say the same thing, change the name, send it to 100 people. Not many people pick up the phone anymore and just call you and say, do you want to get on a Zoom call? Are you comfortable? Do you want to get a cup of coffee outside? Do you want to meet up somewhere where we can, at least see each other in person? Most people are just using COVID and not being able to see, meet people in person as an excuse, saying, no one wants to meet anymore. People want to meet. People want to talk on the phone. People want to do Zoom calls. People want to do virtual happy hours. Invite people to these things. If you're too afraid to call people, one of the things in this business, in any sales job, you have to be comfortable with rejection. You're going to call people and they're going to say they don't want to meet you. They're going to say, that they are not interested, or they're going to say not at this time. That's okay. That's okay. It's a numbers game. The more people you call, the more people you meet with, you're going to build those good relationships over time, but you can't build any relationships if you don't make the call to start it off.
I agree 100%. And listen, guys, again, like you said, stop making the excuse. You go out to lunch, you go out to dinner, you're probably going out to get food and other things with your friends and family. Do it with business partners. Invite them out. And listen, some people might be, be conscious to the fact of what's going on out there. But at the same time, there's a lot of people who are more than willing to go out. I think that's a really smart point. Got a couple questions that are coming on here as well. So what are let's see, if you were just starting out day one again, how would you practice doing cold calls? I'm going to take a quick one on this one is just do it. Pick up the phone and start dialing. I mean, listen, you can only listen to as much practice sessions as you can from other people doing it. You can only read the script as many times as you possibly can, which I also think is extremely important, but you just got to start making the calls. The more you keep putting it off, the less that you're going to have the ability to actually see the progress within yourself, right? So you got to start making your calls eventually. And listen, cold calling is fine. Listen, it's okay to make cold calls and not be great at it your first call. You just got to make sure you make the calls. You want to add anything else to that?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds funny. Watch YouTube videos. Watch videos of people record themselves making cold calls.
Absolutely.
One of you're going to get better at it purely from experience and role playing, right? You're going to have, the more people you call, the more objections you're going to learn how to handle, the more situations you're going to be able to adapt to. if you pick up the phone call and someone says something that you have never responded to before, you're probably going to fumble. You're probably going to be awkward. You're going to be uncomfortable, right? But you have to be, the more times that you make these calls, the more times you're going to be able to see this and hear this, you will adapt to it. It's, if I can, like again, going back to my first job, when I called people, I had lists from the manufacturer's reps, and it was hundreds of names, just their name, the company they were at, and the title, like their title and their company. And that's it. I didn't know anything about them. I didn't know what they were looking for. I didn't know if they had any interest in us calling, but I would call, and we'd probably I would sit with a good friend of mine. He's still there. He's doing super successful. Shout out Rob Dill. And we would literally sit in a room and call 200 to 300 people a day, just calling and learning from that. And what happens is, one of the things that's important is you will begin your career, if you stick to this and you stick in this career, and you will do a lot of cold calls in the beginning. You will have a lot of rejection. You will have a lot of people that tell you no, right? But as long as you stick with it, you keep prospecting 4 hours a day, even when you're super successful, you will get to a point where you are not relying on those cold calls. You're relying on the past clients. You're relying on relationships to give you your leads in your business. But never stop calling, never stop prospecting.
I love that. I think it's super crucial. Another question came in. How do you structure your prospecting time?
So everyone takes it a little bit differently. The way that I do it, I have my team, my personal team that handles all of my loans. We meet in the morning first thing. We're usually done by 9:30, and then I'm usually on the phone from 9:30 to about 12 o'clock. The reason I do it in that way, and it's every Monday through Friday, I'm calling during those times, is because if I call people before 9 o'clock and they are either getting ready to go to work, they used to be commuting to work, but they're getting ready for the day, maybe they're getting their kids ready for school, I don't think people really want to pick up too often in those times. That's me personally. Then during the afternoon is when people are more likely to be, working on whatever they have at their own job for the day. And then if you call after 5 o'clock, you're going to probably get more people on the phone, but same situation as the morning. They might be with their family. They might be doing things in their personal life. They may not want to take the calls. The morning I see as the best time, because if you have something and you can catch someone in the morning when they have a break, before they're in the middle of their day, before they're in the middle of a project or a meeting, you're more likely to catch them just to say, hey, just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Nick from Cross Country Mortgage. Henry from EXP gave me your name and phone number. He asked me to reach out and just give you a call. I know you're interested in potentially buying a home next year. Love to sit down, map out a game plan for you. I don't care if you're buying a house in a month or in 2 years. I just want to make sure that you're super well prepared, and that we've got everything mapped out clearly for you. How's this time, or this time next Tuesday or Wednesday? Let me know, and my assistant will send out a meeting invitation in your online application.
Boom.
Simple.
Listen, so again, like he's saying that, again, time blocked out your time every single morning, 9:30 to 12 noon is what I heard. Also, again, he's not cold calling every single day anymore. He's got lists that he's going off of, but obviously he gets some other leads in a bunch of various different aspects and avenues. So, but again, listen, what he's also saying about cold calling, the one thing I like to say about calling is just make the calls. Like, everyone goes like, well, the 9 to 12 already passed today. I can't make my calls because I was told that was the best time. Listen, make your calls every day. It doesn't matter what time of day you're doing it. Just make them. And eventually you'll get into a routine of what time works better for you. Once you have a more structured calendar, you got more things going on. Because I love when people go, well, it's like 2:30, it's 6 o'clock now. Can I make, I can't make my calls anymore. The answer is just make your calls. Doesn't matter what time it is. Make your calls. You're going to feel a lot better that you did it.
So just to clarify this, I have my set call times that are in the mornings. That's for me.
Yep.
If I don't have appointments booked, I'm calling every second. Every free moment in my day is filled with prospecting and call times. Whether it's new client calls, whether it's calling my realtors, whether it's calling financial advisors that I work with, calling past clients. If I have free time, I'm on the phone calling people.
100%. You need to make sure you take that into consideration. Every second you're not in front of somebody, or again, if you're not calling, I honestly we should be asking you, what are you doing? Because you should be calling. I think that's powerful. Next part here. Let's see. I'm going through a bunch of these questions here. What's some advice that you give to somebody who wants to buy a home without selling their current home?
Got to see if you can qualify. Right? It's very simple. If the numbers work where you can qualify to buy another home without selling your other home, great. But you want to know this up front. You don't want to put in an offer on a house say that you don't need to sell your home and then get under contract and then realize, oh, I actually do have to sell my home. And then you run into an issue with your contract for your purchase, or you're rushing to get your house sold quickly and you're not prepared, or you're not netting the same amount of money that you thought you were going to net from the sale. So the answer is, it's purely numbers. If you can qualify without selling your home, then you can qualify without selling your home. But you want to meet with whoever you're working with, whatever lender you're working with, as far in advance as possible, because you need to know if that's actually a possibility or not.
I agree with that 100%. And then another quick question here is that, does the brand or mortgage company matter?
Yeah.
Right, explain what you mean.
I mean, you want to be, it's the ultimately you are your own person. You are your own loan officer. We're talking about lending for a second. It's ultimately your experience that you provide your clients stands out, but you want to be just like you want to be on a team that supports you. You want to have a company that supports you, right? You want to have a company that has invested into their whether for a variety of different things, the right underwriters and processors, the right marketing team, the right internal support, the right people from a corporate standpoint that can help you. It's good. The brand, branding is it might, people might hear your company's name and they might know it, and it might, oh, okay, I feel comfortable, I've heard them before. But ultimately, you could be working with a company that has the name but doesn't have the back end systems in place to truly support you and grow. So it's when you're evaluating whether you're a realtor, whether you're a lender, you want to evaluate. To me, I would go with the team first that you'd be interested in joining, and then I'd make sure that the company still supports and is as supportive and as good as the team that you're joining, right? Because you could be on a team that doesn't have the back end support and it could be hard for you.
Yeah, I love that. All right, last question from the group here. Your company, like your team now, have they implemented a social media marketing plan and that you're generating leads from, or do you do any paid advertising, or is it just really social media and organic?
Combination of everything. Yeah, we have a marketing coordinator that works with our corporate team and our corporate marketing team to do different initiatives, different events, different paid advertising. There's probably about, I think they have 20 to 30 initiatives going at any given time.
Sure.
That's us, right? Most, if you're working with a lender that is established and has a sustainable team and a big enough team, most of them have something along those lines. I think the corporate marketing team, I think is like 100 people at this point. So there's whatever we need, they do.
And I think it's also important to realize that, like, listen, everything works, right? It's just a matter of what you want to put your focus on, right? Again, like they put a lot of focus on their past clients because that's where a lot of your business comes from. They put a lot of time, energy, and effort into their professional partners because that's where a lot of their business comes from. Whatever seeds you're going to water, you're going to see results from. Don't think that look, it's all important. I think you should do all of it eventually, but you just got to understand, especially if it's a one-man show, it can be hard to do everything well. Right. So other than that, all right, we're going to wrap things up today. So Nick, how can people get in touch with you? Number one, if people want to get in touch with you, and how do they follow you?
I'll ask, Henry, if you put our information,
we will,
on there, but you reach me via email. We'll put my cell phone number on there. Here's what I want also for everyone that's watching this or listening to this to know. If you have questions, obviously a lot of you know Henry, a lot of you know of Henry. And you have questions for him just about the real estate world. If you have questions about just what being a lender is like, what it is on a day-to-day, going back to almost the first thing that I said, reach out and ask. And if you have questions, you can call me at any time and I'll give you the real answers. I'm not going to give you what you're seeing on TV. I'm not going to tell you like what you're seeing online and what people are falsely advertising of what the life is like. Happy to answer any questions, happy to help you however we can, because I think that if this is a business that you that I'm very passionate about it. Our team's very passionate about it. I love what I do. And I know it's going to be a great thing for myself, just personally, and for a variety of different reasons, and for my family. I would recommend it to everybody, but it's got to be the right fit. So before you are going to get into something like this, talk to me, talk to as many people that have the experience as possible, and get real answers, not canned answers, real answers of what it's like.
I love it. All right, guys, look, I appreciate you guys for following. We're going to wrap things up here today. Listen, This podcast is coming to you live each and every single Tuesday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Again, it's a welcome to the Step One podcast. We're going to be talking about how to get yourself started, get that initiative going, get that blood flowing again in your business that you so need. Listen, again, I want you to know that you can come on the live chat where you can come on and ask any questions that you want. This is also streamed live on Facebook all the time as well. And we also post it on YouTube. So you can check us out everywhere. And this will be on the Spotify, the podcast apps that you see all over the place. Listen, last but not least, first I'll say thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, man, as always. And listen, guys, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to take the first step. Do not be afraid to go for it. Do not be afraid to go after your dreams a little bit here. Find your passion, find your purpose, because listen, no one else is going to do it for you, guys. Right? We can show you everything that you need to know. We can give you the knowledge that I can bring all the guests in the world who have some incredible and a wealth of knowledge, and they can give you everything they know. But with knowledge without implementation is just the start of delusion. And you're going to all of a sudden be in the same place in a year from now that you are today. And that's what we're here to try to help you. We're going to try to be that accountability partner. That's what I want to be for you. I want to be your accountability partner, coming to you every single week just to get you jacked up so you can hopefully get your dreams going. And listen, other than that, guys, I appreciate you guys. Please like and comment down below. I really do appreciate it. And other than that, we'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Bye, guys.